Indian Armed Forces are the military forces of the Republic of India. It consists of three professional uniformed services: Indian Army, Indian Navy, and Indian Air Force. Additionally, the Indian Armed Forces are supported by the Indian Coast Guard and paramilitary organizations, such as Assam Rifles and Special Frontier Force. The President of India is the Supreme Commander of the Indian Armed Forces. The Indian Armed Forces are under the management of the Ministry of Defence of the Government of India. With strength of over 1.4 million active personnel, it is the world's second largest military force and has the world's largest volunteer army. It also has the third largest defence budget in the world. The Indian Armed Forces are the world's fifth most powerful military. Indian Army is the land-based branch and the largest component of the Indian Armed Forces. The President of India is the Supreme Commander of the Indian Army, and its professional head is the Chief of Army Staff. The Indian Army originated from the armies of the East India Company, which eventually became the British Indian Army, and the armies of the princely states, which were merged into the National Army after independence. The units and regiments of the Indian Army have diverse histories and have participated in a number of battles and campaigns around the world, earning many battle and theatre honours before and after independence. The primary mission of the Indian Army is to ensure national security and national unity, to defend the nation from external aggression and internal threats, and to maintain peace and security within its borders. The Indian Army is operationally and geographically divided into 7 commands, with the basic field formation being a division. The Army operates 6 operational commands and 1 training command. Each command is headed by General Officer Commanding-in-Chief with the rank of Lieutenant General. Below the division level are permanent regiments that are responsible for their own recruiting and training. The Army is an all-volunteer force and comprises more than 80% of the country's active defence personnel. It is the largest standing army in the world, with 12,37,117 active troops and 9,60,000 reserve troops. The Indian Navy is the naval branch of the Indian Armed Forces. The President of India is the Supreme Commander of the Indian Navy. The Chief of Naval Staff commands the Navy. The Indian Navy traces its origins back to the East India Company's marine, which was founded in 1612 to protect British merchant shipping in the region. In 1793, the British East India Company established its rule over eastern part of the Indian subcontinent, but it was not until 1830 that the colonial navy was titled as His Majesty's Indian Navy. When India became a republic in 1950, the Royal Indian Navy, as it had been named since 1934, was renamed to Indian Navy. The primary objective of the Navy is to safeguard the nation's maritime borders, and in conjunction with other armed forces of the Union, act to deter or defeat any threats or aggression against the territory, people or maritime interests of India, both in war and peace. Through joint exercises, goodwill visits and humanitarian missions, including disaster relief, Indian Navy promotes bilateral relations between nations. As of June 2019, Indian Navy has 67,252 active and 55,000 reserve personnel in service and has a fleet of 137 warships and 235 aircraft. The Indian Navy operates 3 operational commands. Each command is headed by a flag officer commanding-in-chief of the rank of Vice Admiral. The names of all in-service ships and naval bases of the Indian Navy are prefixed with the letters INS, designating Indian Naval Ship or Indian Navy Station, whereas the sailboats are prefixed with INSV, Indian Naval Sailing Vessels. The Indian Air Force is the air arm of the Indian Armed Forces. Its complement of personnel and aircraft assets ranks fourth amongst the air forces of the world. Its primary mission is to secure Indian airspace and to conduct aerial warfare during armed conflict. It was officially established on the 8th of October 1932 as an auxiliary air force of the British Empire which honoured India's aviation service during World War II with the prefix Royal. After India gained independence from the United Kingdom in 1947, the name Royal Indian Air Force was kept and served in the name of Dominion of India. With the government's transition to a republic in 1950, the prefix Royal was removed. The President of India holds the rank of Supreme Commander of the IAF as of the 1st of July 2017. 1,39,576 personnel are in service with the Indian Air Force. The Chief of Air Staff, an Air Chief Marshal, is responsible for the bulk of operational command of the Air Force. The Indian Air Force is divided into 5 operational and 2 functional commands. Each command is headed by an air officer commanding-in-chief with the rank of Air Marshal. The purpose of an operational command is to conduct military operations using aircraft within its area of responsibility, whereas the responsibility of functional commands is to maintain combat readiness. Aside from the training command at Bangalore, the primary flight training is done at the Air Force Academy in Hyderabad, followed by operational training at various other schools. Within each operational command are anywhere from 9 to 16 bases or stations, each commanded by an Air Commodore.